Alrighty, welcome back to Persona 5. Last time we met in Persona 5, we awakened to our persona because, for some reason Ryuji and Joker think that this was Shujin Academy, but also they ran into a really weird version of Kamoshida who was wearing nothing but never mind. So as a result, Joker awoke into his persona because Ryuji was about to get killed. So Joker saved Ryuji's life, and we also just discovered our power. But we also got out of the prison cell, and now we're running away because it's best. That's the best option here.
And again.
So this is really there is some bits of gameplay, but it's really just walk to this section and then an event will occur, because this is honestly why I kind of find it hard to go back to Persona 5 very often, or just the Persona series in general. There are just a lot of tutorials, and nothing wrong with a tutorial. It's just that Persona 5 specifically is the worst with it. Persona 5 has like at least a week of tutorials of in-game time. So, it takes a little bit to get into the groove of things and understand it. And so it just feels very how do I say it? It just feels very slow at first, but then you get back into it, and then once you finish up this part, you're basically set and ready to go to continue and actually play the game.
I'm locked up here, so how can I be your enemy? Help me out.
Actually, I think the one part of the game I'm not really looking forward to getting to is Okumura's palace. But I'll get to that when I get to that. Oh yes, and this is our mascot of the game and our tool to tell us to go to sleep, Morgana. Morgana is voiced by Cassandra Lee Morris, by the way, who also voices Sothis from Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Want to know where the exit is? Let me out, and I'll
So Morgana, so Morgana is this cat. I know he doesn't like being called a cat. But he just appeared in Kamoshida's castle. We don't know what he's doing here. In fact, Morgana doesn't even know what he's doing here. Morgana has no memories of his past. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know what he is. He just knows that he was created for a purpose in the metaverse. Mainly because he has such an expansive knowledge of it, even though half of it is very unconfident.
So great.
Now where's the exit, you monster cat?
Don't call me a cat. I am Morgana.
Shut up and hurry it up. You want to be locked up again?
All right. Sheesh.
Let me think about this. Morgana's story will be revealed towards the end of the game, so I won't really get into that right now. Oh yeah, right. Oh yeah, right. We're late for school. So that means time does pass in the metaverse. So, that makes me question, whenever you go through a palace, once you come out, no matter how long you were in there, it's evening. So how does that work? Like you could be in your you could be in your palace for a split second. And then it comes back out in the evening. By the way, if you go to a palace for only like a minute, you're an idiot. I'm just saying. Or you accidentally click the wrong button.
Well.
That is like the weirdest switch I have ever seen for any puzzle. I mean, it's just funny. Like, I feel like if I was Joker, I'd just start making the thing talk.
Oh shit, it's them!
You amateur. Stay still. Hey, you. You can fight, right? Let's go. Come.
Oh yeah, Morgana's the only one who doesn't have to rip off a mask. Then again, you know, he doesn't really have a mask to wear.
We will promptly shut them up.
So this is kind of where we learn about the basics of battle. Yeah, so for the next few times we come here, we're going to be learning about the basics of this game. This game, so if you've played any Persona game, you probably know where this is going. But for those Persona newbies, let me explain it a little bit better than Morgana does. Basically, what you want to be trying to do is every enemy has, everybody in this game has weaknesses and strengths to certain ailments. The ailments lie with physical, gun. I'll get into gun when we get a gun. We don't get gun for a while. Fire, lightning, ice, wind, curse, light. I feel like I'm forgetting one. Said light. I should check the affinity earlier. Okay, you know what? I'll just look it up because I never really remember all the affinities. And it changes depending on the game. And I was recently playing Persona 3 last night, so I'm thinking of that game right now.
Okay.
Another tool for our mission. Oh,
Okay. Hurry up. Come on, game facts. Is it the Wi-Fi today? Come on. Good.
Whoa.
Okay, so the elemental affinities are physical, gun, fire, ice, electric, wind, psychic, nuclear, bless, and curse. All of them, most personas have a weakness, resistance, and like they have weaknesses and resistance to certain ones. So one could be immune, but they also have another thing called like repel and drain. So let me explain all of them. For weakness, we saw earlier with Morgana. Morgana used wind on one of the enemies, and it made it knocked down. That is known as its weakness. Wind is its weakness, so it will be knocked down, and we'll learn what knocking them down does later. But it gives you a one more, allowing you to do another attack. And you know, you could find the weakness of the other enemies if you so desire, or you can just attack the same one. Even though attacking the same one is kind of pointless because you cannot knock down an enemy that is already knocked down. What was I saying? So weakness knocks them down. Resistance, they take damage to it, but not much. What am I doing? Oh, right. I am equipping. Okay, so the other reason I am I'm just looking for the menu. What am I doing? Oh, I'm trying to change Morgana's tactics. Yeah, that's another thing I don't like about. I don't like the AI for the auto battle. It sucks. Auto battle AI is not the best out there. And it sucks that they don't start doing that until Persona 4, I believe, where you could start directing your commands. You know, auto battle isn't a bad thing. You know, they did find a way around it by making it a little easier for you by saying, like, giving you different tactics as the game progresses. By saying,
Come on, man.
as the game progresses, you know, they gave you a new tactic, especially in Persona 3. Like, we started off with like full assault, conserve SP and stuff like that. But, like, as time went on, we got like knocked down and stuff like that. So at least they did that. In this game, you don't really unlock new tactics because, you know, you can just direct the commands yourself. And I find myself doing that more because it's just easier to manage. The only time I really use auto battle is for my medics. And that's usually towards the end of the game because, you know, I don't want to accidentally not heal my friends because I forget. Joker is a priority to be healed. What was I saying? Okay, so back to resistances. Resistances, you know, they do some damage, but not a lot. Nice, obvious miss, Joker. Now, nullifying, basically they take no damage from it. You know, they nullify it. They say, you know what? No, I can't take damage from it. So 0. They can also dodge it too. Some have that. There's also repelling, which basically it says it counters it towards you. So you used a fire spell. Well, congratulations, you just played yourself because they can nullify. They can just say Tetrakarn. They can say Makarakarn and fire it right back at you. And the other one that is so annoying is Drain, where basically they heal off of that affinity. So if you used a fire spell on an enemy that drains fire, they just gain some health back. I don't believe it's much, but still, it's annoying.
Finally, we're saved. It's not opening. Did you trick us, you jerk?
So yeah, that's basically the affinities aspect explained. You do find out that, so once you find out a Shadow's weakness, it's their weakness permanently. That's the other reason I decided to play in New Game Plus. Because, as you've noticed, though, the Shadows are taking forms of personas. Because that's just how it works now. Don't ask me. So, basically, once you unlock a persona, you also unlock the weaknesses of that Shadow. So I can get the Pyrojack persona. I now know Pyrojack's weaknesses, and I can use that in battle. That is the main reason I decided to do Game Plus, because I can just have an easier time knowing the weaknesses and strengths of all the enemies. The only exception to this rule, though, are bosses. Bosses are the only exception to this, because the bosses do manipulate the affinities of that said Shadow, if you get what I mean.
You've got manners. Be careful on your way.
I also wanted to do New Game Plus for the Strength Confidant specifically, because the Strength Confidant requires that you bring certain personas to Caroline and Justine, and they have to meet certain conditions. Like, you need to have a Jack Frost that knows Mabuffalo, which is pretty easy to do because it's Jack Frost. Or you need to have a Shiza that knows Frey, which is actually pretty hard to do, and I don't have one because I looked at my test playthrough for test playthrough profile, and I don't have that, so I have to figure out that later. I will show off the Caroline and Justine Confidant, but it will be all in one part, probably. Like, it will probably be like, and I will probably do the Caroline and Justine boss battle. I will just probably do a lot of grinding off screen. Yes, let me establish that real quick, because I don't think I really explained that. So, basically, as you know, I am actually, so, if you watch the Batman Arkham Asylum playthrough, which I doubt many of you did, no, I mean, that's just defending myself, honestly. Basically, what I'm doing for the Let's Play is I stop the recording after 20 to 30 minutes, or, you know, something short. Excuse me. And then I name the part and stuff like that. But, however, if I'm in an area where I can grind for, like, money, items, or just in general things, I don't record that because I don't want you guys seeing it. You know, it would be really boring to see a whole part of grinding. So I cut out any sort of grinding. I cut out. So basically, I just I'm making it easier on myself to not edit. So, like, you know, there will be times where whenever I'm doing a part and I jump from level 10 to 15, that is because I grinded off screen, or I have like 700,000 yen all of a sudden. That is because I grinded for money. And I will be doing that a lot in this playthrough, especially in a place called Mementos. Mementos, I will be grinding a lot because they give you really good experience in there, and they also give me shadows. I will show off any Mementos requests, however. Like, you know, if it's a request, I will go and get it. But, you know, there will be days where I literally go to Mementos just to grind, and I will refuse to go towards the target before going to the before moving onward. So, Yeah, I think that basically explains what I'm doing off screen. I'm also changing any equipment, buying any. I am just changing equipment or doing any buying and selling off screen. So you will rarely see me doing that kind of stuff in game because I don't. You don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. So I have decided, and plus it's easier on me to edit because I don't have to spend that much time trying to cut out grinding and stuff like that.
Do you really want to be expelled? In any case, you'll have to explain yourself. Follow me.
Oh man, I got a sore throat and I don't know why.
This is bullshit.
Come now. I should have been more considerate too.
Take some medicine later.
Let's just say that we were
Anyway.
Well, if you say so. Still,
Oh yeah, so this is Kamoshida. We met him earlier actually in the car, but we also met him in that castle. So we have no idea what's going on because, earlier he was crazy, had yellow eyes, nothing was right. And it seems Ryuji really hates him.
Have we met somewhere? That's right. I remember now. Well, I'll overlook this just for today. I'm sure you've heard from the principal. But cause any trouble and you'll be expelled. Understand? At any rate, hurry up and go to the faculty office. I'm sure Ms. Kawakami's tired of waiting. Good luck trying to enjoy your new school life.
So, if you cut the whole castle part out of it, you could still tell that Kamoshida's a dick. I'm just saying. So, like, no one's questioning the fact that the gym teacher is getting involved with, like, the new transfer student. Like, he's talking about and, getting involved with the punishment of students. That's not a gym teacher's jurisdiction. Well, we'll see why everyone loves Kamoshida later on. We'll get a lot of explanations for that later.
It's true that what he did were deplorable crimes from indulging his desire. He confessed to it all. But there should have been no connection between the two of you since you had just transferred. Why did you target him? That's unacceptable. Try and recall.
You'll find out later! I gotta tell you my studying habits. Don't yell at me. Okay, Boomer. Can you stop talking to him, please? Thank you. So, I don't know if I established this earlier, but, I have mentioned countless times that this is a New Game Plus playthrough. This is, I could theoretically skip a lot of confidants. I can make confidant stuff easier. I can skip getting social stats. I'm not doing that. I am still treating this like a new profile. Like, I will be doing the same exact things normal Persona 5 player would be doing. I wrote that this was, now, throughout this playthrough, I am following a very strict schedule that I wrote myself. I've not uploaded it online. I wrote it in a Word document after a few playthroughs. Because, I've been legitimately curious to see what is the most optimal way of playing this game. And this game has a few ways of being optimal. Like, you have a lot of ways of, approaching this and still managing to either get really close to all the confidants up or all of them up. And I want to try to get as many confidants up as possible. Now, you will notice some trophy prompts popping up. That is because I just haven't gotten them yet. Because I have just been because, I played on a separate profile for a while. I played offline on a profile I never signed up for PlayStation Network for. So, that profile is separate from this one. what was I saying? So essentially, this will be a very samey playthrough for those who have played Persona 5. I've made the schedule, and like what I'm doing throughout the playthrough, like I am consulting it. I have it on my other laptop, and like I'm just scrolling through it every day and looking through what I did that day, and I even explain certain let me see if I can find it real quick on this laptop. Let me just. It'll take a second. Oh yeah, this is also we're about to introduce ourselves to our classmates, so. Yeah. This computer's taking a second.
You think that's
Huh?
The one
wrong.
in the rumors?
Pin. Okay, it was a recently. Here it is. So, like, I explained everything, and this was made to make all of the stuff. So, for example, let me see if I can.
Well, I'd like to introduce a transfer student.
Find it.
Today we had him attend from the afternoon on since he wasn't feeling well. All right, please say something to the class.
I even do have a chart that tells me how to fuse all the personas for the strength confidant, which I did not know to have. So, like, for example, I have every day marked down of what happens in that day. So, for example, since today is the 11th, it says the first day of school, and I don't really go into depth in terms of story stuff. I don't spoil that kind of stuff. But like, tomorrow it'll be a class question that'll tell me, and I answer and I say what it is. So tomorrow's question is something about logic, and it gives me a knowledge.
Did you catch that?
It gives me a knowledge
Do those
point.
two know each other?
So throughout this whole entire Let's Play, you won't see it because
That means she's cheating on him with
it's
Mr.
just me, but I will be consulting. I guess you could say it's a guide. I mean, I wouldn't really consider it cheating, though, because it's my own guide.
Totally awful.
But I also wanted to make sure I maximize this playthrough as much as possible and make it very interesting. Like, I have marked down every single day in the game all the way up to, and it even tells me when to go for mementos requests and stuff like that. Like, I think I have one. Yeah, I have mementos requests.
What's wrong?
And like I will be trying to go for all the confidants up. Now, the other thing is I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to do a harem. Because everyone knows the joke about Joker having a harem in Persona 5. Well, at least all the Persona games have a harem except for 2 and 1. So I might do a harem, I might not. I will surprise you. I guess you could say I'm not saying it. I am not saying that meme. I'm just saying.
What do you want? I heard the police caught you cutting classes today.
It was nothing.
And you haven't dyed your hair back to black either.
Sorry about that. I'll be waiting on the rooftop.
See, that's why I don't want you getting involved.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Understood?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Also, there are some scenes that show off that have different circumstances. So there is a scene later on when they're doing a culture festival. What I will do is every one of those events, I will show off all the possible events on those days. That will be a whole part, and I will comment. And, I'll do all that. So for example, there in the So, this one's a very story-heavy one, but I won't get into it. After a certain event, the scenes you are able to do are Makoto, Haru, An, Kawakami, Ryuji, and Mishima. I will show them all off, and, because that will require me resaving my save file and unloading it. You will know which one I actually do based on which one's the last one, like which one I'm continuing with. And if you know me, you know where it's going. You know which one's going to be the one I love the most. But, you know, I explain when I go to Mementos which ones to go to. I explain when to send calling cards, when to do this, do that, do this.